Welcome to Talk Birdie To Me. This is Australia's most popular golf podcast with former world number 16 Nick O'Hearn, the only player to beat Tiger Woods twice in match play, and tour pro Mark Allen, who played professional golf around the world for 15 years, including a British Open. We're coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. Titleist is the number one ball in golf, and FootJoy is the number one shoe and glove in golf. And thanks to our great partners, Watch My Numbers, the most powerful database golf app in the world. Download from the App Store or Google Play. Ping, as with Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. See your local golf shop or professional for a Ping Club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. And Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Now that's better. Now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, it's time for Talk Birdie To Me. Here's Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Okay, welcome to Talk Birdie To Me. This is a feedback podcast, and I believe we got a voice message this week, Dan.
Well, we did. The voicemail just went off a second ago, so let's check that out.
You have one new voicemail. New message.
G'day, Mark and Nick. This is Mick reaching out from Bedford in the UK. First, congratulations. By a country mile, yours is the best golf podcast on YouTube.
Nice.
It never fails to entertain and consistently has content that's relevant throughout the golfing world. Except when you keep whinging about the Aussie Open. Give it a rest, guys. Without doubt, my favourite golfing story of all time is Mark's recollection of playing with Monty at the Aussie Open. I must have watched it a dozen times and it still makes me cry laughing. Anyway, what I'd love to know is, respectively, your 5 favourite courses worldwide.
Ooh.
Apologies if you've already covered this in a previous episode. If so, I'm sorry I missed it. The reason I ask is I'm fed up of listening to Chambly and McGinley rave about Oakmont in the run-up to the US Open. In my book, it takes more than 6-inch rough, 300-yard par threes and lightning greens to make a great course. For me, it has to be a course whose photograph would hang proudly in my man cave. And whilst I don't doubt how difficult it must be, I'm afraid visually Oakmont just doesn't do it for me, especially with that ridiculous church pew bunker. Keep up the great work, guys. Sorry my message is so long. Very best wishes, Mick.
Good on you, Mick.
How good's that? How good. Where is Bedford in the UK, by the way? I should know. I should know.
No.
I don't, hang on, do you want me to Google it and look it up? Let me look it up.
Is it anywhere near Bagshot? That's where I used to stay.
Well, I lived in England for a long time, so I should know.
Yeah,
I will have a look up while you guys... Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk our way through this. So,
okay. I know what my top 3 are. I've got to think of 4 and 5.
All right, well, we'll go...
Which way are we going to go?
We'll go course for course. I'll go first.
You going number 1 first? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My number 1, and I reckon the other ones will be harder.
Yeah, they will
So
be.
we might have to talk through those. My number 1 golf course that I've ever played is Cypress Point. I absolutely loved it. It was a dream for me. I got there and it was a perfect day. I'd heard all about it, 6 through the forest, 6 through the dunes and 6 around the ocean. I'd heard all about that.
Yep, 3 different courses in one.
Yeah, 3 different courses in one, but you could see the Mackenzie design. You could see how they hadn't pushed too much earth around. I love small greens on golf courses. Once
when you walk across the road to 15, the short par 3, and if you look down below, there's seals just
outrageous,
basking on the rocks with the waves crashing in.
Yep.
I played there one year with Kelly Slater, the surfer.
Is that in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am?
Well, it was that week.
Yeah,
but my good friend Michael Fitzpatrick, who lived at Pebble. We'd go play Cypress because he was a member. Yeah, every year I went and stayed with him.
This is the bloke who lived on the 18th fairway.
13th fairway. 13th fairway
wow.
at Pebble. Yeah, it was a tough week for sure. Had possibly the greatest wine collection as well. So we had some good times. But I played with Kelly, and I think it was, it's the one before that, the 14. Yeah. And we teed off, and then he sort of runs up because they got those fences along next to the road. He runs over to the fence and he jumps up on it. And he's looking down at the waves, and he starts, getting into the surfing position. And I said, "You want to be out there?" He says, "I'd love to be, but that's too dangerous. Where the waves were crashing in,
because of the rocks,
because of the rocks and everything." But he was just—I could see him visualizing.
Good golfer too, wasn't he?
Very good, very good. It's about a 3 or a 4 marker.
All right, so there's my number 1. What's your number 1?
That was my number 2 actually. Cypress Point for me. Okay. So we've already gone there. My number 1 is the old course at St Andrews.
Now, why is that?
It is. I always The best way to describe St Andrews is it's a living, breathing parcel of land. It changes every time you play it. Whether some days I've played there where you get every hole downwind for the front nine, and then you do a little loop, come back, the wind switches, you get every hole downwind again. All of a sudden you're going, how good's this? I've played every hole downwind basically. Other days, every hole's into the wind. You get the opposite. Then it comes in from the sides. The routing, how each, it's side by side the whole way out and the whole way back in. And sometimes you'll go, well, why is that bunker over there? That makes no sense. And the next day you play and you go, oh, now I'm trying to avoid that bunker. So you're playing different strategies, different holes. It is phenomenal. It's also one of the scenes of, what was that, Lee Trevino comment of Sevi Ballesteros.
Yeah.
Remember that? Pure class, baby.
The touch of class.
Touch of
touch of
class.
class.
Touch of class, baby.
Touch of class.
Touch of class.
But and then you've got the town as well, the experience of just walking down the cobblestone streets. Everyone in that town,
The Dunvegan.
is a golf nut.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, I remember one year we were at the Dunhill, my caddy Wilbur was in one of the pubs and in walked Prince William and having dinner with those guys and things like that. It's just crazy. So that's my number one.
All right.
Can't beat it.
Well, my number 2 is a homegrown special, Royal Melbourne Composite.
Okay.
And I tell this to people all the time. Royal Melbourne West is always 6, 7 or 8 on whatever top 100 list, the good ones and the bad ones, 6, 7 or 8. But Royal Melbourne Composite is twice as good as Royal Melbourne West. And I really believe it. The way the course sets up, the fact that it's every 6 holes you come back to the old clubhouse, the old pro shop. The warm handshake first. It gives you a chance to build a score in those first 6 holes. The old routing.
Yeah, they have different versions of the composite.
They have different versions, but the old version is the best version. Then you have that run in the middle of really tough golf holes.
Yeah,
I think it's what is it? It ends up being 7. So it would be 8's the short one. There's 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
All brutal. Really, you'd want to have a good score going, and then the last few holes are always just gorgeous getting around that golf course.
Yeah.
And we were lucky. You and I played a lot of tournament golf there.
We did.
And when you saw that place juiced up at its very best, even the international the American players who came down and played the President's Cup, they were all saying the same sort of stuff.
Yeah,
that it is. If this golf course was in America, it would be a top 3 golf course in the world.
It's probably the only course I played where, in tournaments especially, I'm fortunate to play a few different events there, where I'd have a 30-foot putt, and with 10 feet to go, I know if it's in or if it's missing.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're guessing. You know if it's in or it's missing, and you've got an 8-footer coming back if it's missing sometimes. So it's such a special. The composite was actually my number 3. So you're saying it's your number 2. I've gone St Andrews, Cypress Point, number 2 for me. The composite is my number 3. Now, I always say to people, they're my top 3 in no particular order, but since we're going in an order, if I had to favourite, maybe that might be the way. But yeah, you take the whole property as well. They've taken 6 from the east, 12 from the west.
That's right.
That's how the composite is made up. But all the other holes are almost just as good, which is scary.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was the famous comment by Tom Watson, the par 3, 16 east.
Yeah,
they said, "Oh, what's the best?"
Should have been on.
What's the best hole you've seen? Well, it's the one we just walked past.
Yeah,
it's not even in the rotation.
Yeah, that's right.
But now it is, obviously.
Yeah, now it is. But still, I still prefer the old. What is it? Must be the
one up the hill.
5. Sorry, hang on. So east course is 1, the short one, which is on the composite. 2 is on the composite as well, which was the 4th.
So it's 3.
3, 4. The long part, I always felt that was a better hole to find out who's playing well.
I hate that hole.
Because you're a lefty.
I'm a lefty.
Yeah, that's right. You're a lefty.
And you got to hit a high long iron, and I don't have that in my bag.
And if you pushed it, it wouldn't go as far. It would be those big bunkers.
It's a good right-handed hole.
It's a great right-handed hole. I'll give you that.
What's your number 3, Mark?
Mine is Muirfield. Not Jack's course. I'm talking about the British Open venue.
You've played it?
So
these are obviously courses we've played.
Well, there's one course in my top 5 I haven't played.
Well, I'm going ones I have played.
Yeah, okay. But you'll know why I put it there soon. So Muirfield, for me, it's the best links course that I've seen.
I haven't played it. So
now I haven't seen Royal Counting Down.
Okay. Neither have I.
Which everyone tells me is the best.
Mm.
So Muirfield, an easy walk. Your eyes light up every tee you step on.
Mhm.
It just has that beauty about it. And when I was there, everything was in order. I only played it once, but the rough was perfect. The greens were perfect. And it was a nice day, and the backdrop, what framed every hole was beautiful.
Mm.
And just all the history,
Yeah.
It's actually not called Muirfield. It's called the Society of Edinburgh Golfers or something like that. It's something along those lines. We all know it as Muirfield, and that's my number 3.
Very good.
Okay, so we've got so far we've got the top 3, and I applaud you on the creativity for going from a top 5 from 1 through to 5 rather than the traditional route of 5 through to 1.
Well, there's the other ones that are hard.
Yeah, 4 and 5 is getting tricky.
I actually haven't got mine 4 and 5 written down. I know one of them. I don't know where I'm going to put it. But I'm going to put it at 4 or 5.
Mine may become a top 6.
So, here we go. Okay, so Mark's number 1, Cypress; number 2, Royal Melbourne Composite; number 3, Muirfield, British Open, Muirfield; Nick's 1, St Andrews; 2, Cypress Point; and 3, Royal Melbourne Composite.
They're pretty solid.
Well, they are solid. We will have a break, and after the break, we'll do number 4 and 5.
Okay. But this is a great question, Mick. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
We're live from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. We all know the number 1 ball in golf is Titleist, and the number 1 shoe and glove in golf is FootJoy. We're here thanks to the Golf Clearance Outlet. They beat everyone's prices. Ping will always help you play your best. Turn your bogeys into birdies with the Watch My Numbers app, and Better, the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. That's better. Now, back to Talk Birdie To Me. Here's Nick and Mark.
Well, have you played Pine Valley?
No.
That's normally the number 1 in most top 100s. I've never played there. So I'm sad to leave that off. I'm sad to leave Royal County Down off.
I'm leaving Augusta off, and I've played there because, tournament week, it's incredible, obviously, but I have others that I enjoy more, if you know what I mean. As a tournament, it's probably my favourite tournament in the world.
Well,
so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Augusta, and I never played it.
Okay.
I had the chance to play it. I've told you this story, haven't I?
Yes.
I've told you the story.
Tell it again.
Well, Channel 9 liked my work, the first commentary I ever did. They gave me the spot on the Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I said, beautiful. I called my friend, Kevin Youngblood, who's my source in Dallas, if you don't already know. I called him to say, hey, Kevy, guess what? I'm playing Augusta. Mate, I can't come and see you. And he goes, no, you have to come see me. I said, why is that? He goes, we're having a party for you.
Oh.
Everyone's flying back, blah, blah, blah. So I went back to the boss at Channel 9 and said, hey, listen, this is happening. He goes, fully understand. I'll see you next year. Bring your clubs. I didn't have my clubs, didn't have my golf shoes, didn't have anything. I was just going to get a set of clubs from the pro shop and play Augusta. Anyway.
So you're still thinking, I get to play Augusta.
Oh, yeah,
it's just a year later.
I did all the commentary for Channel 9, all the majors for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Christmas came along and the guy who was head of sport at Channel 9, Gary Burns, got the sack.
Oh, no.
So I called the new boss. He was a Gary as well. I called him early in 2003 and said, hey, I had this deal. He goes, yeah, we'll honour that deal. No worries. I'll see you soon. See you at Augusta. 3 weeks before the 2003 Masters, the Iraqi war broke out.
No.
And that ruined my life. I didn't get a chance. Don't worry about everybody whose life it ruined.
I was going to say it might have ruined a few others, but
oh my God. Anyway, so I missed out. And so that was my chance. But in the end, I saw it that year in 2002. I used to take people there. I've probably been there 14 times. So I feel like I've even though I haven't played it, I can judge it.
So
that's my number 4.
Number 4 is Augusta. What are the locals call Augusta when it's not set up for the?
So the town,
yeah.
So it's not much of a town.
No, you wouldn't want to go there for a holiday.
So for 1 week of the year, the locals call it Augusta, And for 51 weeks of the year, the locals call it Disgusta, unfortunately, for the people who live
No, it's not good.
in Augusta. So, look, I've got Augusta at number 4.
Very good. I like it.
Nick?
My number 4, Sunningdale Old.
Whoa, yes.
Yeah, I love it. It's been fortunate to play a couple of rounds there. It has the best. We talk about halfway houses.
Yeah.
You get the old sausage in a bit of bread,
Yes.
sausage in a blanket, or whatever you want to call it over there, and it is delicious. But I've played there when it's been cold. I've played there when it's been hot. Wonderful clubhouse. You get the little sandwiches and your cup of tea before you go out.
Lovely.
We've got the beautiful tree behind the 18th green. Just the feel and the vibe of the whole place. It's got English tradition written all over it. And Mick, who's asking the question, I hope you've played there, and if not, I hope you get a game there. But
Did you say which course?
the old. The old is 1908. The new is 1910. So that's how they separate the two.
They're both great.
They're both incredible.
They're both unreal.
But I thought I'd pick one over the other. But I heard a while back, I think you have to be a 14 handicapper to be a member of Sunningdale.
To join.
But I know, watching some of the people play there, they're not 14 handicappers.
Well, that was
maybe they've deteriorated over the years.
You had to be 14 or better to join. But once you were in, if your handicap drifted out, that was fine. But you had to be a golfer to get in.
Because I had a friend, there's a lovely couple, Rob and Ferry are their names, and Ferry was a very good golfer. She probably was about a 10 marker. Yeah. Rob was around a 21, and he was trying to get his handicap down, but it just wasn't happening for him. So, but they've got a house on the property too. So I hope he's in. I'm not sure if he is or not. But
before we go to number 5, by the way, I did Google on the maps thing where Mick is from. That's where Bedford is.
Oh, okay, just north of London.
North of London.
And that's just, not far from Milton Keynes, actually, which is where we used to play. It's Woburn sort of country.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. All right. Halfway to Wolverhampton.
Well, my number 5 is Tara Edie in New Zealand.
Funny you should say that.
Oh, you got it there too.
That's my number 5.
Yeah. So I'd heard so much about it, and quite often when you hear so much about a place, when you walk through the gates, you're expecting so much. I was expecting a lot from everybody that I knew who had been there, and I got there and I thought it was better. I thought the people who told me how good it was did a bad job describing it to me. So I absolutely loved it. I didn't think there was one thing wrong with it. I loved the pines up in the hills that surrounded the golf course, and just a few pines here and there. I don't think they were pines. I think they were something else. I was saying when I got back from it last time that the 7th hole was the best short par 4 in the world. I still think that.
Yep.
But just, some golf clubs have a feel, and like St Andrews, for instance, you're nervous on the first tee for some reason. It's just got a feel. This is where it all started. Tara Edie's got a feel.
It does.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful feel. I think the members have set it up for the right reasons. I actually played it, and the fairways had just been top dressed, so I didn't see it at its best.
Right. Okay.
I would love to go back one day. Hello, everybody that I know. I would love to go back one day and see it at its absolute best. Yeah. But even though it wasn't at its best, I just loved the joint. Yeah. I absolutely loved it.
I saw it at its best. I was fortunate because I was playing the member guest, a good friend, Mark Robertson, and his wife Anne invited my wife Alana and myself over to play, and we had an absolute ball. Yep. This place was just, as you say, they tell you how good it's going to be, but once you get there, you go, well, this is even better than what people have told me. The experience, the service, the golf course. I played, because you play 9-hole matches in the member guest, and I probably played 1 or 2 practice rounds. So I might have played 27 or 36 holes leading into it. And I thought, how good is this? And then we played 9-hole matches from then on. Yeah. Every 9 holes I played, it just kept getting better and better and better. And when that happens, you're on some pretty hallowed turf.
Well, when I was there, I was doing the same thing. It was in Australia versus New Zealand. It was Australian members versus New Zealand members. And it was the same sort of thing. And the last day was 18-hole singles. Mm-hmm. And like you said, each day, I loved it more. Yeah. And I saw something else, and the wind was blowing from a different direction. And that's the only way to do stuff, isn't it? I mean, you've got to see it a bit. And those golf courses that grow on you, quite often the ones that sneak up and go, you end up going, that's the best.
No, indeed. And the great thing about a club like Tara Edie is it's an invitation-only type club, a bit like Cathedral in that sense. And those clubs are different to the everyday clubs that you get around here, because those clubs, guess what? They have what's called a no dickhead policy.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's, everyone who is a member there are just phenomenal people. And same with Cathedral, same at Tara Iti. They're just incredible people, and they're obviously successful in whatever they've done. But at the same time, you wouldn't know it. They're just down to earth people that love playing golf, and that's why I love the golf club.
And it gets down to the caddy experience as well. I mean, honestly, it's one of the.
How good are the caddies there? Yeah.
Well, look, you and I, we had caddies all our lives in our professional career, and that's one thing. But when you're playing social golf and you've got a caddy, wow, I mean, that's a very sophisticated thing to do. It's just beautiful.
Well, some of them double loop too. They got 2 bags. Yeah, they were thankful with me because I only had 7 clubs in the bag. So.
Yeah. And you know what? I reckon they had a no dickhead policy with the caddies as well, because they were part of the show.
Absolutely.
They were part of it. What was your 6? Mine's an interesting 6 that got bumped.
Yeah, mine was, I thought about putting it in there, but Ballybunion. I love Ballybunion. It's incredible. I played an Irish Open there back in early 2000s, and spectacular on the coastline. The wind was whipping in at 40, 50 kilometre hours on the final day, and I think I shot 1 or 2 under. It was one of the greatest 1 or 2 unders I've ever shot. So obviously I love the course for that reason, but then you got the Guinness in the pubs afterwards, and that's fabulous as well.
Yeah. So I've tried to get a course with Bermuda greens in there, so you cover all bases, and mine was TPC Sawgrass. I love it. That was my number 6.
Yeah, it was good.
A lot of people, particularly the people who are traditionalists, kind of thumb their nose at that joint. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's one of the great golf experiences I've ever had. So I've tried to get, a Parkland course, Sandbelt golf course in there, Links golf course, and it wasn't that hard to do. And when I look at my top 5/6, it's got them all. And I reckon yours has got a good taste of everything as well.
It's hard to argue with any of those courses. I'm disappointed St Andrews Beach not there. But
hey, look, I like St Andrews
we got
Beach.
a St Andrews in there. It just wasn't the
I like St Andrews Beach, but come on.
Fabulous question from Mick in Bedford in the UK. Thank you for that. We love getting Wolfpacker questions, which is great.
By the way, the Talk Birdie To Me investigation on St Andrews Beach is continuing. I have hit a few dead ends, but the more dead ends that I hit, the more I suspect that person who is a well-known Victorian who gets on St Andrews Beach and is friends with another person who golf courses are somehow mysteriously missing.
So the investigation is continuing.
I won't die. I won't let it die.
All right.
I'll continue on.
Now we're going to wrap the pod there, but I have one email that I thought we would just read out, and Nick, this is from somebody in WA, so I might get you to read this out if you don't mind. If you want to whack the glasses on, you can.
Fellow West Aussie,
you can read this one out for us from
the state of origin.
This is from David. So from the top.
All right, from David. Yes. Hi, Nick and Mark. Love to listen to your podcast on my drive from Dunsborough to Perth every week. Very nice. I'd just like to raise the issue of personal behaviour and self-control on the golf course. I have a pretty solid view that no player should ever spoil anyone else's day just because they are having a bad round.
Fair enough.
As I'm a high teens handicapper, I've had plenty of practice getting over bad shots, bad holes, bad rounds. Have a hit, have a laugh, and remember it's just a game of golf. A few years ago at Mount Lolly Golf Club, I had the misfortune to play a Saturday comp with a youngish 8 handicapper who was having a shocker. He was grumpy, barely spoke other than to complain about anything and everything, and he did throw a club that day, which is a bit of a no-no.
Ouch.
He almost pulled out at the turn.
Yeah.
3 of us wish he had. It was not a great time on the course that day. As it happens, a week later, I played with another low handicapper who was having an average day, whether he hit it good or a bad shot. However, this more seniors player reaction was pretty much the same, calm and gracious, and he just moved on to the next shot. I didn't play with him that often when I was a member there. I've moved out of Perth, but I always enjoyed it when I did. He shot his age a few years ago, which was a pretty good effort. His son apparently beat Tiger Woods a couple of times in match play, so perhaps the talent and demeanour were genetic.
There you go. Isn't that nice?
Isn't that good?
Isn't that nice?
It's good to know about the old boy.
By the way, if you didn't know, Nick O'Hearn's father played baseball for Australia.
He did. Yeah, he was one of the greats back in the day in the 1960s. So, yeah,
that's great.
I didn't even know that was coming. Thanks, Dan. That's great. Yes. Very good.
Yeah, he's a very
I was
sneaky
wondering
Dan.
where this was going. And I thought, this could get ugly here. So.
He's very, Dan is a very sneaky man, but he's sneaky in a good way. Folks, keep the emails coming. Keep all the feedback coming. If you go to talkbirdietome.com.au, scroll down a little bit and leave us a voice message. We love it. And we will see you next time.
Cheers.
And that's been Talk Birdie To Me, Australia's most popular golf podcast, with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, coming from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters. As everyone knows, Titleist is the #1 ball in golf, and FootJoy, the #1 shoe and glove in golf. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to subscribe, maybe leave a review, and we'd love you to share the pod with a friend who loves their golf. Huge thanks to our fantastic partners. Ping, like they do for Nick O'Hearn, will help you play your best. You can see your local golf shop or professional for a Ping club fitting. The Golf Clearance Outlet always beat everyone's prices. Visit golfclearanceoutlet.com.au for your nearest store. Watch My Numbers is the most powerful data-based golf app in the world. You can download from the App Store or Google Play. And better, they've got the fastest and easiest betting app in Australia. Download from the App Stores today. Now that's better. Keep in mind, what are you really gambling with? But for now, from our studio at Titleist and FootJoy headquarters, thanks for being a part of the show. We'll see you next time.